baby, share the way you move. Gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Hey, baby, share the way you move. Gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Child, the way you shake that thing. Gonna make you burn, gonna make you scream. Oh, baby. Hey, baby, oh, baby, pretty baby, show me how you do it now. Hey. I gotta roll, I can't stand still. Got a flaming heart, I'm gonna get myself. Now, show me how you do it now.
Welcome to coverage of the NBA playoffs here on ESPN, and we begin the coverage in the great city of Chicago, where all kinds of people have all kinds of memories about 6 championships won in the 1990s. They're hoping maybe today is the first step towards another championship run for their beloved Bulls. The number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the team with the best record in the NBA during the regular season. The Bulls will begin the playoffs at home here in Game 1 today against the Indiana Pacers. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and John Barry. And, of course, they're so excited about this team right now, and they're so excited about the young man, 22 years old, who just might win the MVP this year in Derrick Rose.
I think he will win the MVP, to be the youngest ever to win that award. And I can make an argument that he might be the most improved player as well. It started in the FIBA World Championships in the summer. He knew he had to be more vocal. His game's improved in every area. I've never seen a point guard in the history of the league with the ability to finish like Derrick Rose. He can get to anywhere he wants to on the floor. You talked about the improvement, jump shooting. Nobody finishes better than Derrick Rose. And just a year ago, you talk about great point guards in the league. Was it Nash? Was it Williams? Was it Paul? Well, there's no question now. It's Derrick Rose, the only player in the NBA to rank in the top 10 in both scoring and assists. Derrick Rose, he's been sensational, and he's been the reason why the Chicago Bulls are the number 1 seed overall in the NBA.
Pretty good supporting cast as well. Boozer, Noah, Deng, etc. The Indiana Pacers come in 37-45, but a better team after the coaching change. Interim head coach Frank Vogel led them to a plus 500 record. They're young, they're confident. Are they dangerous?
Well, maybe they don't know enough because they've never been here, but they do have an all-star caliber player in Danny Granger. And Danny Granger said, I don't want to play the Boston Celtics. I want the Chicago Bulls. Well, Danny, you've got them. You've got them in their barn where they've lost 5 times. You've got the number 1 seed. They play great defense, and they're going to be ready today. There's no overlooking the Indiana Pacers. The Chicago Bulls are ready to make another title run.
The number 1 overall seed in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls, led by Derrick Rose, getting set to take on the Indiana Pacers. The tip is next.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs. Brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit, and Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback.
This telecast of the NBA is presented in 3D by Sony. Welcome back to the building affectionately known as the Madhouse on Madison, the United Center. Sellout crowd, 22,000 or thereabouts as the Indiana Pacers come to town in Game 1 of this series and Game 1 of the NBA playoffs here in 2011. A look at the starting lineup for the Pacers. It's a young group, a group that played well down the stretch. Darren Collison, Paul George is a rookie. Danny Granger, Tyler Hansbrough, Roy Hibbert. Only Granger among these 5 has ever played in the playoffs before, and that was 5 years ago. For Chicago, Derrick Rose, Keith Bogans in the backcourt. Luol Deng quietly had another very strong season. Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah. What a talented team. 62 wins on the season. For more on today's game, let's send you over to Rick Bucher.
Thank you, Dan. Danny Granger said that if you stop Derrick Rose, you essentially stop the Bulls. That was not lost on the Bulls supporting cast. Now, Granger and Rose accidentally bumped into each other outside the locker rooms and had a quick, awkward handshake and kept walking. There will be no handshakes with that supporting cast. Keith Bogan said, we talked about what Danny said, and we're not going to change what we do, but he can expect some guys to step up today. Dan?
Andre, thank you very much. Great stuff. And John, I mean, you've been around, played in enough playoff series. You just never want to give anybody bulletin board material unless you really have to.
Exactly. And stopping Derrick Rose is easier said than done. No one's been able to find a recipe to do that all season long. So I don't expect the Indiana Pacers to do that today.
And worth noting, in the last game between these two teams in the regular season, they didn't quite stop them unless you call holding them to 42 points, stopping them, although Indiana did win that game in overtime.
They did, but don't discount the Chicago Bulls supporting cast. Will Deng, as you mentioned, a terrific season. Carlos Boozer, when healthy, he's been terrific. Joakim Noah, we know what he can do on the interior. They're the #1 seed for a reason, and we're going to find out here today.
The Pacers get the opening possession of the game. Joey Crawford, Violet Palmer, Bennett Salvatore, our officials today here in Chicago. The NBA playoffs are underway.